So in the last class, we had ended with explosion welding, right? So just a quick summary of that. We'll go through. Right. So you see, as for the principle of operation for explosion welding, we saw that we'll keep a gap in between the two plates that are to be joined, and the top plate will have an explosive above that. So it will be ignited, right, with the help of a detonator. And when the explosive is ignited, it forces this plate to hit the other plate, right? That is a base plate. A gap is maintained, as you can see here. So there will be plastic deformation, and that is responsible for joining of these two metals, right? That was the principle of operation. It depends on the two types. If you're keeping a constant interface that is parallel, the distance is constant, or angular, right? That was the and as for the process variables that we have, the type and amount of explosive, all these factors can be varied, depends on the material you are trying to weld and the thickness of it, right? Mechanical properties. So all these things are factors, and the variables you can vary are the velocity, angle of collision, and the prime component velocity, that is basically your, you see, this is your clad metal, right, and base plate. So clad metal or flyer, right, it is also called flyer, and three names basically. You have either, you call it either clad metal or prime component or flyer, right? So that was the operation, and we even saw the limitations and advantages of it. Just a quick overview. The common explosive, as you know, some of them TNT, RDX, etc. depends, and their use will be as per the velocity that we want to achieve, which will depend on the material and mechanical properties, right, etc. So now we'll go for soldering, right? This is also one kind of welding process, as we know. Generally, this is for IC chips, as you can see, integrated chips, right? So to be able to join those miniature components, right, transistors, resistors, we make use of this soldering process, right? Because we are joining different components, it comes in the category of welding, right? So there will be this solder gun, right, is what you call, and the filler metal will be supplied because of the heat. Heating of the solder gun, this filler metal would be melted, and we can place it wherever we want, right? So that's the basic principle of operation in soldering. And as you can see, it is very much similar to brazing. We are going to see brazing in the next few slides, hopefully. So these two categories are almost similar, and the principle are also same. Major difference lies with the filler metal, right? The filler metal used in case of soldering should have the melting temperature lower than 450 degrees centigrade, right? That's one major difference we can say. That the filler metal, you see here on the right side, that should have, if the filler metal we are trying to use has a melting temperature lower than 450 degrees centigrade, then that's called soldering, right? So the surface to be soldered must be clean, so that these phases of oxides, oil, etc., right, all those can be removed, right? Just as you remove these or clean those surfaces in other welding types, even these has to be clean. Otherwise, those oils wouldn't allow for a proper weld to take place, and oxides also would form, right? That will lead to rusting and a defective weld, basically. And an appropriate flux must be applied to the fitting surfaces, and then surfaces are heated, right? Even flux is also supplied to prevent that oxidation, as we have seen in the earlier welding types, right? Flux was what was responsible for avoiding the oxide formation, etc. Filler metal called solder is added to the joint, which distributes between a closely fitted surface, right? As you can see here. So that is what gets distributed and forms a joint. Strength of the solder joint is much lesser than welded joint and less than a brazed joint, right? So as you can see, the weld that we are trying to give, the filler metal that is added is very small, so it will not be that strong. That's what is trying to that is what is emphasized here, right? We'll see a video. Right, so
Soldering. In this video, we are going to see about soldering. Soldering is a method of uniting two or more pieces of metal by means of a fusible alloy or metal called solder. Consider a soldering iron, electrode, stand.
that stand is basically to hold that solder gun or electrode, as you want to call it, right? Because it will be heated, and if you place it anywhere, that is an unsafe practice. So to be able to have safety wherever this is being performed, the welding, especially the soldering technically, there is a stand, right, wherein that will be kept, your solder gun, in between the welds, or once that gun is heated, right? So that is what that stand is for.
Soldering is mostly required wherever electronic components need to be connected to circuit boards. A blowtorch or soldering iron constitutes the equipment for heating the base metals and melting the solder and the flux. It is applied in the molten state. It is distinguished from welding by the base metals not being melted during the joining process, which may or may not include the addition of a filler metal.
Right? So another major difference you can observe, apart from the strength achievement in the welding, right? In the welding type that we have seen earlier, major difference here in soldering with other welding types, which you have seen earlier, is that the base metal is not melting. Is it that those electronic components, right? They are not melting. The IC chip is not melting, right? What is melting is our filler metal, which is responsible for joining these tips of the electronic components to the IC chip, right? This what we call PCB. I'm sorry, not PCB. Yes, printed circuit board, I believe, is what we call it, right? So even this plate is not melting, right? And that those electronic components are also not melting. So this is a major difference between the previous welding that we have seen and soldering, right? Here only this filler metal melts and joins these two. There is no melting of the joining components, right?
Constitutes the
So that was the end of the video, right?
or may not include the addition of a filler metal.
And even another point is, some building types we have seen earlier do not have, some did not have a filler metal required, right? I believe mostly all had the requirement of filler metal except for this thermite building, and your resistance building also did not have this filler material requirement, right? So here there is also a major difference when compared to those welding types which require filler metal. That here filler metal is very much required, right? And the point that the base metals are not melting, right? Is that clear? This video about soldering. Okay. So you see, what are the soldering materials? There is lead tin alloy, ranging from tin, the composition ranging from 5 to 70%, and lead 95 to 30%. So if lead tin alloy is being used, then the compositions can vary like this. Mostly it will be uh, lead, right? High tin lowers the melting point of alloy and increases the fluidity of molten solder, right? That is one point to consider. Higher composition of tin will lower the melting point and it increases the fluidity. So increases the flowability, we can call, right? In one sense, flowability of that molten solder. When it is melted, it will be able to flow easily and cover the weld area like that. Tin antimony solder, right? Based on this composition, 95% tin and 5% antimony. Tin silver, tin being 96% and silver 4%. Lead silver, right? And tin zinc and cadmium silver solder even. So these are the soldering materials that are available, right? These are the most general ones we can call, right? The form of solder and flux for soldering. Form of solder is either bars, right? As you have seen there, a small bar, right? Bars and flux cord wires also, as I said, flux is also utilized. So those bars will be covered with fluxes, right? Or wires if you want to call them. Sheet foil, ribbon, and paste or cream, right? These are all forms of solder we can use. Fluxes used in soldering are ammonium chloride, zinc fluoride, rosin, and rosin dissolved in alcohol. These are classified as inorganic fluxes, very active, and organic fluxes which are active, and rosin fluxes which are less active. Depending on the application you are trying to solder, right? The flux selection would be made appropriately. As for the soldering methods, soldering irons, dip soldering, torch soldering, oven soldering, right? All these are soldering methods to achieve the same weld, right? Resistance soldering is also there, induction soldering, infrared, and ultrasonic soldering. So as a soldering iron, you see that stand was what we were talking about. This is integrated with this setup, right? So that you can keep the solder gun. The solder is touched to the tip of the soldering iron, right? As we are seeing here, so that molten solder spreads into the joint surface. So that's what is responsible for heating, right? And then the corresponding joining of the metals, right? Strength of the solder joint, metallurgical bond is formed. Why? Because that filler metal melts completely, right? So it surrounds that base components. Intermetallic compound formed at the interface. Base metal and solder interaction determines intermetallic compounds. right? As we have seen in that electronic components, right? If no compound is formed at the interface, then strength is largely determined by the adhesion, right? So, as for example, I told you difference between adhesion and cohesion, right? Adhesion is between bond between different materials, right? Bond between the molecules of different materials, that is adhesion. Cohesion is bond between molecules of the same material, right? For example, in a metal, right? In a metal, for example, steel metal, the cohesion would be the molecules are attracted to one another, and the solid that is there is strong because of the bonds that are there inside. And when the same metal is, what do you call? For example, you could take this Fevikwik example, right? That is an adhesive because it tries to join different type of materials, right? One to the other. So that is what you can take as adhesion between joint bond between molecules of different materials, right? Of different kinds, basically. Their microstructure, the microstructures are different. The bond formation would be different. There will be a different kind of bond formation and adhesion as compared to cohesion, right? Because of they are made of the same material, unlike adhesion. So if no compound is formed in the interface, then the strength of that bond, the soldered joint that is taken place, it is largely determined by the adhesion property, right? How well it can attach to the other material kind. Soldering flux residue treatment. The rosin soldering can be left on the surface of the joint. Rosin residue flux removed. Using all these materials, you can remove that flux that will be formed as a residue, right? Just as you have slag. So this residue will also be removed using these materials. Advantage is it's because it is a low heat input process, right? That solder gun will not be heated much. Because we're saying it is the filler metal melting point, if it is lower than 450, then we consider it to be a soldering process. So you can imagine 450 as compared to 1100, 1200 like that, right? As for steels, etc. When we're trying to weld them with arc welding or MIG or TIG welding. So comparatively, this is a low heat input process, right? And therefore, you would have corresponding benefits. That the residual stresses are less, right? Because the solidification time would be less, and oxide etc. would also not be formed. So all these lead to lesser residual stresses, lesser distortion even because not much high temperature is reached. Therefore, the solidification time is less, and therefore shrinkage will be less, and therefore distortion will be less, right? And mechanical properties are finer as for the same temperature range, solidification time factor. HAZ, that is heat affected zone, this is also less because of lesser temperatures, because we are only going up to 450. Therefore, the heat affected zone will not be that high. It will be only near to those. If you can see, that color indicates that it is affected by heat, right? The color that is around the weld, it is turned kind of green, right? What we can call is vegetable green, right? So that kind of green color indicates the heat affected zone. It is affected by the heat of that molten filler metal. So that zone is very less as you compare to other welding types we have seen, arc welding, etc. Because the temperature achieved there was high, therefore there was more conduction time for it to cool down, and therefore it was conducting, and that heat affected zone was large because of that more time and more temperature factor. But here, because the temperature is also less, the time is also less, therefore the heat affected zone will be less, right? Non-uniformity in properties of joint, right? Because they are not completely melting, right? This comes off as kind of disadvantage actually. There's non-uniformity in properties of joint, proper fit and accuracy, right? Because the control that is required would be very limited, right? So this leads to this kind of proper fit up. You're able to fit it exactly, or the dimensional control is more, and the accuracy achieved is also more, because the soldering iron is quite portable and you are able to flexibly move it. That leads to this higher accuracy as an advantage. No melting of base metal, as we have already discussed. There is no melting of base metal here. Only filler metal is being melted and joining the two base metals. No problem with metallurgical compatibility, right? Because the two could be of different materials. For example, we have seen the PCB and the thermistors, resistors, etc. They are having different metallurgical bonds. So the compatibility, where there is no compatibility problem, right? I mean, when you're trying to join two different metallurgical entities, this comes off with no problem. Soldering offers you to have that process even though metallurgical compatibility is not there. Joints can be disassembled if needed, right? Because the bond is quite relatively weak as compared to a welded joint, right? Because they're not completely melting. So the joint that is there can be disassembled, right? This can be taken as a positive point or a negative point depending on your load application, right? The loads that the welds have to carry. Fair strength, as is being highlighted, it's not too high, it's not too low. A fair strength, it can handle loads within a certain limit, right? Because electronic components, as we know, would not be subjected to heavy loads, right? Yes, vibration would be there, but that is only of a very low frequency. Or even if it's a high frequency, the amplitude would be less. They'll not be moving very, what do you call, drastically. They'll not be drastic to and from motion. So therefore, the load that are placed, the different loads are within limit. So that comes off as they are under the phase strength that we are achieving in soldering. So we can go for those soldered joints in case of these electronic components. So is that clear, soldering part? If there are any doubts, we can ask. Okay then. So you see, when it comes to brazing, in case of brazing, joining of metal pieces is done with the help of filler metal. Okay, that is one point that is common to both brazing and soldering. Filler metal is melted and distributed by capillary action between the fairing surfaces of the metallic parts being joined, right? So it is distributed by capillary action. We'll see that. In this case, only filler metal melts, right? That's what we have been seeing from soldering. There is no melting of workpiece metal. Okay, the filler metal or brazing metal should have the melting point more than 4. Right? This is one distinguishing point between brazing and soldering. That you have the filler metal whose melting point is more than 450, right? So this is the kind of higher temperature range process as compared to a soldering. Its melting point should be lesser than the melting point of workpiece metal, of course, because if the melting point of workpiece metal is lower, then that would melt before the filler metal, right? Which is what we don't want, right? A very common sense approach here, that you have to take a filler metal whose melting point is less than the workpiece metal you're trying to join. Metallurgical bonding between work and filler metal and geometric constrictions imposed on the joint by the workpiece metal make the joint stronger than the filler metal out of which the joint has been formed. Right? You see the metallurgical bonding that is there between your workpiece and the filler metal, and the geometric constrictions imposed on the joint by the workpiece metal. You see, when it is failing, there will be some kind of constriction, right? That's what is highlighted here. That's what makes the joint stronger than the filler metal out of which the joint has been formed. So because of these conditions, the metallurgical bonding that is achieved in the geometric constrictions, you are able to have a stronger joint, right, between the filler metal and the base metal, right, or the work metal if you want to call. So that, and as for braze welding, we can see braze welding is an attractive as base metal melting does not take place, right? Wherever the melting of base metal is not required, we can go for this braze welding. Braze welding is combination of welding and brazing process, right? Because filler metal is required, yes. The joint is being formed, okay, but the point is it will not have the melting of base metal, unlike welding. As for braze welding, the edges of the plate are prepared, right? The edges have to be prepared here. For the filler metal to come and sit here, it will have to be just a minute. Okay, so the edges have to be prepared, right? Just as you have preparation of edging your arc welding or thermite welding, etc. The edges have to be prepared here, right? And this is one another distinguishing point between brazing and soldering, which we have seen, right? Because these two belong to the same category, right? We kind of said they are similar because of the base metal not melting and the temperature range is quite more or less similar. So unlike in soldering, you are not having any edge preparation. Here we are having a preparation of the edges, which are to be joined. Right? Those edges have to be prepared for that for dimensional control, etc. Braze welding, the capillary action plays no role. The filler metal has liquid is above 450, but below the melting point of parent metals. Right? As we have discussed, that this is one factor. Another factor, 450 above the melting of the base metal, this filler metal takes place above 450. Unlike in soldering, we have below 450 degrees centigrade. Filler metal fills the joint like welding with or without the melting of parent metal, right? So that filler of that braze welding is brass with 60% copper and remaining zinc with small additions of tin, manganese, and silicon, right? Those are given for specific reasons, right? Either for more hardness or trying to have avoiding some reactions, or maybe to have some corrosion resistance properties like that. Small additions. The small additions of elements improve you see deoxidizing and fluidity characteristics also. This is also another reason not to have oxidation, as I have said, and fluidity also, as we have seen in the earlier slides, right? Addition of that material was giving us more fluidity, basically more flowability of this filler metal to go and sit at different spots wherein the weld has to be taken place. So those characteristics are offered by these addition of the elements, right, in small percentages. As for you see the operation here, this is brazing of brazing or soldering material. A small clearance gap that is kept. Here is your heating source, right? So that these two base plates can be joined. You see that filler metal comes and sits in that gap, right? That is responsible for having a bond between these two, while the base plates are not melting, right? Preparation of plates, as we were talking about, the surfaces must be free from impurities, right? You have to remove those impurities. That's why this preparation is required. I mean, preparation as in the sense of cleaning preparation to ensure proper capillary action, right? Butt joint is used with some edge preparation, primarily to increase the contact area between the plates and joint, right? Because more the contact area, more the filler metal would be added, and therefore more the strength of the joint, right? So that is what edge preparation implies. You see, we'll see this video raising.
Brazing. In this video, we are going to see about brazing. Brazing is essentially similar to soldering, but it gives a much stronger joint than soldering. Consider a setup with flux material. welding torch, filler rod, and workpiece. Brazing is joining of two metal pieces by using a filler metal. Mostly copper-based alloy and silver-based alloys are used. In brazing, the base metal of work pieces to be joined is not melted, but filler metal is melted. This filler metal is in the form of liquid adheres to the base metal, and the joint is made between the two work pieces.
Right, that area which was there, that is being highlighted in the color, is what the weld area is, right? So that filler metal has filled that joint which was there between those two pipe-like structures, right? And that highlighted area is what is your weld area, which is responsible for joining these two pipes. Observe that change of color. As you're talking about adheres, right? Adhesive action. So this filler metal is having an adhesive bond between these two pipes, and therefore joining these two, right? Consequently. So is this clear? Like the principle of brazing and what is happening? The melting of this filler metal, and it occupies the space between the two pipes. With yes, that capillary action also, right? What we have seen earlier, that basically it tries to adjust in this situation even without gravity, right?